Hello, and thank you for the invitation to participate in the GEO-AWS EO Cloud Credits webinar series. My name is Rafael Monge, and I work in the Ministry of Environment and Energy of Costa Rica as Director of the National Center of Geoenvironmental Information. In this presentation, I'll be speaking about the project, a global modeling tool for nature's contributions to people in sustainable development. This project is made possible through a collaboration between Stanford University's Natural Capital Project and Costa Rica's Ministry of Environment and Energy, the Central Bank of Costa Rica, and PRIA's laboratory, and work funded by NASA and the Group of Earth Observations and supported by the GEO and AWS Cloud Credits Program. Rapid improvements in spatial data, computation, and visualization present new opportunities for ecosystem service modeling, especially in terms of its integration with Earth observations from satellite remote sensing. Earth observations can provide near real-time information of the current states of ecosystems at global extents, but cannot necessarily predict benefits provided to people or how these may change under different management or other drivers. Ecosystem services models are designed to do exactly that, but they are often hindered by lack of data at the appropriate spatial or temporal resolution. Earth observations can help fill these gaps. Scaling up and integrating Earth observation in ecosystem services modeling can provide more relevant, accurate, and readily available information for decisions. There are a growing number of opportunities for such science to inform investments in nature to support human well-being around the world. This project is aiming to advance the use of satellite information to predict patterns of biodiversity at different levels, providing more continuous coverage across both time and space of biodiversity than it is possible through data collection on the ground, increasing the understanding of the relationship between biodiversity and ecosystem functions and services. We want to advance the science and support decisions making within the government of Costa Rica related to biodiversity and ecosystem services. The key areas where natural capital information could improve decision-making with major policy or finance implications is the development of the first national ecosystem service accounts through the UN system of environmental and economic accounting. The Central Bank of Costa Rica is currently piloting 3 ecosystem service accounts: crop production, carbon, and tourism. Additionally, MINAE, the Ministry of Environment, is undertaking a variety of analysis to enhance the reporting mechanisms related to the Sustainable Development Goals, improve biodiversity and ecosystem services monitoring plans for the Convention on Biodiversity and the REDD+ National Strategy, tackle deforestation and forest degradation, generate key environmental indicators and maps to report to the citizenship on the state of the environment of Costa Rica, and map essential life support areas. Our first project goal has been to develop and test models to use Earth observations of ecosystem level essential biodiversity variables, or EVVs, to predict biodiversity patterns and at ecosystem and species level. Our second goal is to develop and test models to use EVVs to predict ecosystem services, including pollination, tourism, and sediment retention. For pollination, we are assessing pollinator availability and coffee pollination utilizing species distribution models for pollinators and ecosystem functional types of biodiversity to indicate floral and nesting resources. For tourism, we are integrating biodiversity with social media data to develop a spatial model to predict visitation rates from different ecosystem types and bird diversity derived from our species distribution models. And for sediment retention or soil erosion control, we are parameterizing soil erosion modeling through the integration of remotely sensed vegetation indices as part of natural hazard planning to assess climate risks and asset values of habitat mitigating risk. Our main challenge this year has been changing timelines and expectations due to COVID. We experienced delays in obtaining the data needed to validate each of our models. We also had planned to have an October big virtual workshop last year in person, and like so many other events, had to switch to virtual. This allowed us to extend our reach and include audiences outside Costa Rica. However, in-person knowledge exchanges are always more effective for hands-on technical work like we are performing, and we remain hopeful we will be able to hold a training event in Costa Rica at the end of the project. Integration with a big number of institutions, the volume of data, and the lack of prior standards for harmonization of current information are important challenges for the management and visualization of data. There is not enough qualified staff in the institutions of Costa Rica, and this requires better governance and management capacities, especially in key areas like IT. Another important challenge is to design and adapt the end products for the easier and faster interpretation of decision makers and stakeholders of the Costa Rican and global society. In this year of the project, we'll be focusing on finishing validation, publishing and developing software tools for partners to continue generating these products after this grant has ended. Specifically, we are planning to deliver pollination field data and validation of EVV-based pollination, manuscripts submitted for species distribution modeling, ecosystem functional types mapping, EVI-based sediment retention modeling, EVV-based tourism modeling, EVV-based pollination modeling, and a synthesis comparison of essential biodiversity variables and land use land cover approaches in an scenario context. Also, generalized software tools or scripts for generating EVVs from Earth observations data and for modeling ecosystem services from essential biodiversity variables. Integration of the project results in Costa Rica's reporting mechanisms to international initiatives and to respond to local challenges is also a key area of work for us this year, including the development of the second report of the State of the Environment of Costa Rica, which we're hoping to publish by the end of this year or the beginning of the next. Thank you very much for your attention. Muchas gracias.